empowering and enabling entrepreneurs to prosper. BW Group Corporation, fueling dreams one at a time. Hey, good morning, family. Again, it's Bernard Hyde. I want to give you a word for the week today. Look, I'm going to be coming from, where are we coming from today? We're going to be coming from Romans chapter 10, verse 5. And I tell you, this is some good stuff. Good stuff for the week. We're going to get right to it. Again, we're going to be in Romans chapter 10, verse 5, a message of salvation to all. And this is a great way to kind of to get your Friday going and start into your weekend with just knowing this. Moses writes about righteousness that's based on the law, right? The commandments, that the person who does the commandments shall live by them, but righteousness based on faith says, do not say in your heart, who will ascend into heaven? That is to bring Christ down. Or who will descend into the abyss? That is to bring Christ up from the dead. But what does it say? The word is near you, in your mouth and in your heart. That is the word of faith that we proclaim. Because if you confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, then you're saved. I just want to say again, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised from the dead, then you're saved. For scripture says, everyone who believes in him will not be put to shame. For there is no distinction between the Jew or the Greek, for the same Lord is Lord of all, bestowing his riches on all those who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Everyone who calls on the Lord. And I tell you, that's an awesome thing. And then it says something here, it talks about good feet and how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the good news. And I just want to inspire everyone out there that I think there's a preacher in everyone, that there should be a little bit about you that you can say that, man, you know what, God has blessed me and God has done something miraculous in my life. And I think if all of us can get together and have the courage to share sometimes our testimonies, and also in our mountaintops, remember that God got us up on those mountaintops. And even in the valleys, God's got us through those valleys, that I tell you, his people can be edified and people can really start tapping into the source, the root of what real peace and success and favor looks like, in understanding who it really comes from. And it's from God alone. And it's from making a decision that understanding that, hey, look, we're not perfect, that we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, right? And look, we're not all right. And even me, look, I'd say I'm not, I'm broken in places and trying to work on some things. But the good news is that I know that if I've confessed with my mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord, and I know that God raised him up from the dead, that I can trust that I'm saved, and I can escape condemnation, and that I can trust that Jesus went up and made room in heaven for me. And so, I mean, that's a reassuring thing that I think that can give us the energy, right, and allow us to walk up with a purpose that, man, we're loved so much, and with that love, we can love one another. And we were also as a family in Colossians 3, and it was just talking about just the need to make sure that we can kind of bear with one another, and also have a spirit of forgiveness, and to avoid kind of corrupt talk, and to watch kind of what we dip ourselves in. And I think for all of us, as we all try to, if you're running a business or working for a corporation or serving in your community or serving in a squad or a battalion and working in the military or wherever, you're doing something awesome for your family, or you've got awesome thoughts, or this applies to you. I think that if we get our heads right and get our minds right and set on things that are beyond this world, right, and focused on God's purpose for our life, then we can bring those things down into the natural. And that's what success is. It's not in a whole bunch of likes and being popular, and not to knock those elements, but that's not the core of what success is. Success is being able to see God's will, manifest God's will, and have a peace in being in God's will. And sometimes that can put you into tough times. Sometimes that can put you into tight spaces. Sometimes that can stretch you. But I tell you, God is getting the glory. And I tell you, there's no better place to be than to be in that position. So I tell you, let's take up that posture. Let's be reminded of the promise that we can take from Scripture. And let's also take the correction too. And I'm looking at myself too. How Bernard, how can you be better today? How can you forgive more? How can you love more? Right? How can we wash away earthly ambitions? And how can we put on heavenly charge? Those are the things that I'm praying for, and I pray that same thing and that same revelation come for you. And I want you to just go to Romans 10 and read about it, and read through the scriptures. And I tell you, as we all try to get closer to Him, we're going to be able to shine our light bright and help someone else, because that's what it's really all about, helping one another. All right, be blessed, and I pray this bless you in some way. But I know that God is doing an awesome work in your situation. Hold on by faith and have hope in Jesus. Be blessed.
Empowering and enabling entrepreneurs to prosper. BW Group Corporation. Fueling dreams one at a time.